ladies. First of all, Miss Jenna Leigh Green. The beautiful Miss Beth Broderick. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Melissa Joan Hart. Keep the applause going for our wonderful ladies here. It is indeed a reunion as we have a very special guest. Give it up for Salem.
It does it when it wants to, and it scares the crap out of me.
It moves and meows.
Oh, there it is. Oh, there it goes. Wow. I love it. Well, we have Ben and Tim are in the audience. Give a round of applause to Ben and Tim. They will be helping us out. If you have a question for any of the ladies on our panel, please just raise your hand and they will come to you. But before we get to you guys, how was the final day of Comic Con Liverpool, Ben?
Oh, we've been having a blast.
So much fun.
Too much fun.
Yeah. We've seen the whole city. We've met so many of you, taken so many pictures, heard so many amazing things. So it's been wonderful.
All right, so we've got Ben with a question right over here on the right-hand side.
Hi, I'm Becky. Sabrina was my favourite programme growing up, and whenever I was getting from school, it'd be the first thing that I would put on. My favourite spell was probably in Sabrina Through the Looking Glass when Libby steals the cap from Sabrina's head, hiding the wart, and Sabrina turns her into a goat. What was your favourite spell, the one that stands out to you the most?
Oh goodness. My favorite episode is the pancake episode. I loved that. In fact, the other day, I was trying to explain why my son is so addicted to sugar. So I was trying to explain sugar addiction to him. And I used the pancake episode. It's one of the few episodes he's seen. And I just love that one too, for me personally, because it was the first time I really feel like I got to dive into some physical comedy, which was really fun. Like digging through trash cans and doing the song, and we did like a song and dance. And that was one that really stood out to me. But I loved, like, all the costumes and stuff were something that I remember, you know, being Cyrano and being Alice and being Cinderella flying over a volcano or something. I'm like, wait, I'm strapped up in this halter, like, what do you call this? The
Harness, yeah.
I had to put a dress over it, fly over a volcano. But of course I don't see the volcano. You guys see the volcano. All I see is green screen all around. And, you know, just all those memories. But also a lot of the memories for me are like personal things that were going on in my life. Like the day my dog died, the day my boyfriend broke up with me. Like there was an episode we did with a wedding. Was it your wedding or Caroline's wedding? Hilda's wedding?
I think it was Caroline's wedding.
Okay, and so there was an episode where Hilda gets married, and I was directing that one, but my boyfriend had broken up with me in like the middle of the night, or I had broken up with him in the middle of the night. I have to get that right, by the way. I broke up with him. Just clarify that. I want to clarify that. But you know, so I look at that episode and I'm like, oh, I was so tired that day because I didn't sleep because I was trying to lock him out of the house.
That's a Comic Con exclusive right there. I love it.
I personally love the one where we made men out of dough. I think that is actually my favorite episode of all.
We've got Tim right here with a question in the front on the left.
Hello. I was just wondering, do you feel that there are any parts of your characters that you yourselves relate to? Maybe not so much for Jenna.
Thank you.
She does. Hold on.
Well, I'll go first. I think Caroline and I were completely typecast. I mean, we actually are the Hilda and Zelda. We really are in real life pretty much the same people. But interestingly, you know, it was really important to me that Zelda be a scientist, that she be really, because I wore a lot of short skirts and tight dresses and, you know, was kind of dressed that way. And I wanted to make an example that you know, women can be both smart and attractive, smart and dressed, you know, and sexy. And I had 2 girls come up to me this weekend and say, I went into science because of you. And I think that's so cool. That makes me so happy.
I think actually I can find something. One of my favorite episodes was the puzzle episode called 5 Easy Pieces of Libby. And the whole time, so one of the great spells, which we had a little, mishap story yesterday about that, but I get turned into a puzzle, and then Sabrina has a certain amount of time to find the missing puzzle pieces in order for the quizmaster to help turn me back into a person. But she has one final piece that she can't find, and she can't figure out why. And it's because, you know, wrapping up the moral of a story at the end of each episode, which was always really cool that we had that. It was her heart, and the fact that she actually had a really sweet spot for her grandmother, and I think it gave just one small instance of humanity to Libby, and let people know that, you know, maybe it's all an act, maybe she's insecure and that's why she behaves the way that she does, but she really does have a heart, so I love that.
Collective awe.
For me, that's funny actually, that there was one, I don't know what the episode was called, but Sabrina gets stuck in her own bad mood. And that episode, I was in a really bad mood. So I don't know if that's art imitating life or life imitating art, but I remember that week I was really cranky. And I was like, why can't I get out of this? And I wonder if it's because the character was in a bad mood the whole week and I just took that on myself. I don't know, I think the thing for me is, I know a lot of people relate to Sabrina in the way that she had this special thing about her, but didn't want the attention necessarily, wanted to kind of, I feel like she was always shying away from what made her special, and felt a little bit like a misfit because of her magic, and because of the secret she found out about herself, and just sort of trying to just hide in the shadows a little bit, and that was very much the opposite of me. I am very much more like my character Clarissa from Clarissa Explains It All. A little bit more of a, I don't know, I think a little bit more of a nonconformist, like someone that likes to kind of push the boundaries and be a loudmouth, and being an actor, you know, we just tend to want to, actors just tend to usually want to, you know, be the one that everyone hears and be the center of attention and that kind of thing. So to play Sabrina was a little bit the opposite for me. So it was a little bit, I didn't always relate to her. So it's funny because a lot of people did.
Certainly. A lot of Clarissa fans in the audience. Round of applause for that. Myself included. Ben's turn as well. He's got a question right over here to the right.
Hi, I was wondering who was your least favorite person on the set?
Least favorite person?
I didn't hear that question.
Oh, you know what? We actually had, to be honest, it was just the most lovely 7 years of my life, and we had an amazing cast, an amazing crew. We actually all got together a few weeks ago. I just missed everyone so much. I threw a little party and told everybody, come on out. I took over this coffee shop at night, and we had crew, and Jenna flew in from New York, and we had people flying from Canada, and Beth was gonna come from Texas, but she was working, and so, you know, we had like 100-something people show up, just the old crew and cast, and we just had a blast. Jenna and I were out till like 2 in the morning, which was not what we do anymore, but we acted like our old selves, and we just had such a lovely time. We all got to go. Jen told the story yesterday about how we all got to go do an episode at the Animal Kingdom at Disney World, Florida, and we were working in California, so that was a long distance, but they took the entire crew, and we all went. We had a blast, and it's just a testament to how much we all got along. Everyone really, I mean, there
We
wasn't...
took vacations together.
We took vacations together, we got tattoos
We
together.
went to Mexico, we went to Vegas.
Yeah.
I mean, we really all enjoyed each other, and you'd think that there would be some horror stories or something, but honestly, we had a blast.
There was one costume designer that I could have done without.
That's true. She only
It was
lasted
a
a short while.
meanie.
We weeded out a few mean people.
Yeah, we had
It
to
was,
be like, she gotta go.
we had 7 years of pretty much, that's true, I forgot.
I forgot to. I think I blocked it out.
We had 7 years of pretty much, you know, out of 150 crew, we probably at the end of it had the same original 100, you know? Some people retired, some people left for other reasons, some people got fired, but mainly, the only thing that really turned over a lot were the writers. The writers did turn over a lot, but I don't know exactly what the reasons were for that. I just think it was to bring different blood into the show and bring different characters and that kind of thing. But you know, we honestly just had the most amazing 7 years. And when it was done, a lot of the crew went on to retire, just like, we'll never find this again. We'll never find a family like this again. So we're done.
Yeah, I've been on a lot of shows since, and I know you have too, and it really, nothing's ever felt the same. No.
And a lot of people on the show say that it was such a family. It was such a great time. It was a great time for all of us in our lives, and we were successful on the show. Did great because you guys all loved it. Internationally, it was loved, and we just knew we had something special, and we didn't want to let it go. A lot of the times with TV shows, what happens, especially with actors, is you do what's called a pilot. So you do the one episode, and then it's a test. And if they like it, they pick it up for 13 episodes. So you'll get the 13 episodes, and then if they like it, they'll pick up another 13 for the back end, or 10, or whatever. They'll pick up more for the back end. So every actor is kind of like, I want my pilot to go. And the pilot goes, and they're usually like, I want the back end. And then when they get the back end, they're like, I want a second season. When the second season gets picked up, they're like, now I want to do a movie. And so by second season, a lot of actors are like, I want out. I want out of here. But I think we all knew how special it was, how wonderful it was, how much it was loved, and we were along for the ride.
Yeah, I have to say that that's something that I think we all share is a gratitude for having been a part of something that meant so much to young people all over the world. Sabrina plays in every country, you know, pretty much every day in every country in the world. I could be swimming in the ocean in Belize and I hear, Zelda! You know, so I mean, it really, you know, it's a privilege to be in something that's had such a positive effect in people's lives and that continues to affect new generations even today. So
Yeah, we've had so many people coming up and telling us, you know, you were my childhood, which was, you know, kind of our childhood too, but you were my childhood and now my children are watching it. And so, and it really holds up. It's a show that could be on the air today, and I think it would be just as popular as it was when it aired.
it wasn't my childhood, just for the record.
Get a question right down here in the middle towards the left.
Hi, my name's Stuart. I'm just wondering if, out of all the roles apart from Sabrina that you've all played, what's your favourite role?
Apart from Sabrina?
Apart from Sabrina.
I really loved my show, Melissa and Joey. I had so much fun on that because after Sabrina, when we were developing Melissa and Joey, I was like, I just don't want to be the one. On Sabrina, I was always the one that things were happening around and she's trying to fix it. And I was like, I don't want to be the fixer anymore. I want to be the tornado. I want to be the one causing, I want to be Lucy. I want to be the one that's just a mess. And with Melissa and Joey, I really got to do that. So I got to be, you know, the slutty lush who just does everything wrong. And it's just a hot mess. And that was so much fun for me.
I did a movie called Bad Actress, where I play an actress whose career is washed up and I become a serial killer and my career is revived. So it was really a ridiculous film, but so hilarious. I really enjoyed doing that. And I have another movie called Two Step that I really liked.
As well as television and film, I love to sing. And,
Great singer.
So I actually got the chance to be a part of Wicked, the musical Wicked. And thank you. So I got to spend some time on Broadway and also around the country and in New York, Los Angeles, sorry, playing Nessa Rose and Elphaba in Wicked. And that was pretty special.
You always get stuck with witches.
I know, really. I should do a one-woman show about like bitches and witches. But also, I also got to do a pilot last year that was really, really fun, and no one has ever let me play this type of role before, but I played kind of like honestly, she was super low, like white trash, very, you know, way too much makeup, huge hair, bad clothes, and just, she didn't really have any social graces, and it was so fun. I loved it.
We've got a question down here on the right.
Hi. So I wanted to say first that I grew up watching the TV show like everyone else, and it's probably the reason why I've got a black hat now. You know? So one of those things. I just wanted to know. You said that you had a very positive experience during Sabrina, but even thinking about it now, what's one of your funny memory that you think of right now, like something that still stands out that you think about shooting, you're like, oh, I remember this, or you know, like
We did a witch trash episode. Lonnie Anderson was in it and a few other fun people. But we had this outhouse, and there was this outhouse scene, and you would open the door and all of a sudden you'd be in the outhouse, or I can't remember, it was like, you guys probably remember better than I do, but you would open the door and different things would happen. So the crew would go in the outhouse, and we'd open the door and there'd be a crew member. This guy Ken on set he was our producer, and he would always just do a lot of jokes, a lot of private jokes. I don't know if you guys ever noticed, there's a lot of references to corn in Sabrina. We talk about corn a lot. A river of candy corn runs through it and things like that. But the joke corn kind of comes from our friend Ken, who I guess corn means butthole. So so the word corn is in the show a lot as like a little secret joke.
I had a lot of fun with them.
I had no idea that was a thing.
You learned something today.
I'm really not sure I approve.
Now you're all going to go back and watch it to see how many references there are to corn.
I had a lot of fun. The episode that we did about the Crucible, the Salem witch trials and the Crucible, we were studying it in school. On the show, I didn't really get a ton of opportunities to leave Westbridge High. You know, most of the stuff that I shot had to do with the high school and things that happened on that set. So it was really fun. We got to go out to the back lot and film this episode that was all kind of tossing us into the Salem witch trials and the Crucible. And you know, Melissa had a ton of experience on the show with lots of costumes and different looks, but I didn't really have a ton of those unless I was being turned into an animal or an inanimate object. But we got to, you know, dress up and costume for that one, and I just remember having a really fun time doing that.
You and Caroline had a ton of laughs.
Well, Caroline and I mean, the two of us together were incorrigible. I mean, we laughed so hard that we would cry our makeup off, and they'd be like, "You guys," and then we'd have to go back to the makeup room and put it all back on. So, you know, we had a wonderful time. But I can't remember the character's name, but I got to play my cousin. Do you remember that? Who was a Southern Belle and was a white trash.
Your own twin.
Yeah, my own twin.
Your own twin.
Yeah, who was like
twin.
yeah, who was like a Southern Belle and white trash, and I had this big long wig on, and I was just quite. So that was real fun to do. That was funny to do.
The episode of the twins, though, I had the flu. There was like 2 times when I had the stomach bug. And that was one of them, and I remember we had to stand on the volcano. I think I had to throw do you guys remember I had to throw my twin in the volcano or something like that? I don't know. Did I throw her? I don't remember. But I remember standing up there having to do it twice. Once as Sabrina and once as her twin. And we're outside under the sun in California on the edge of this fake volcano thing. And I asked some of the guys to stand behind me in case I passed out, because I was like puking that day and had to get up there and do it twice and like with this corset. I was like, I'm just gonna pass out. Someone needs to catch me. But I don't know. That wasn't like a great memory.
What was the spy episode?
Spy.
We had the one episode that was a spy, and I was like Lydia something knows a lot, and I had that bob wig.
Oh yeah.
I just remember I've never been more sick in my life than the week that we filmed that episode, and you can see it if you watch the episode. I mean, I'm already pretty pale to begin with, but I was pale as a ghost. They had me, I mean, I think that there was a cot or something that they brought onto the set because it was like, I actually couldn't be there, but I had to be there. And that's something that happens when you're on a shooting schedule like we were. You can't be sick because...
I just worked with Ed Begley Jr., who I had to apologize to because I remember that like 20-something years ago when he was on the show, he was playing a teacher and he's in the front of the classroom, and the whole time I was puking in a bucket over here, and I had my head down on the desk, and for my lines I would pick my head up, but it's terrible acting etiquette to not be there for another actor, to not be delivering the lines, giving them eye contact, doing exactly what you would do on your close-up for their close-up. And I just remember thinking, he must hate me, because the whole time I had my head down, and I'd pick my head up and say my line, and then put my head back down. And so I apologized to him. He goes, "Oh, I had nothing but fun." I was like, "Oh, thank God," because for like 23 years I thought you had hated me. Like, what a terrible co-star she is.
Well, especially the first 4 years of shooting, we were there for 16 hours sometimes. 15, 16 hour days.
3 days a week.
Yeah, 3 days a week at least. And it was, you know, I mean, and and the crew, we were all exhausted all of the time. And I just remember one day we had this scene, we started the day at like 5 a.m. and I had to like do this whole pratfall down the stairs, and do this whole huge comedy bit. And the crew's just exhausted, like, you know, it's so hard to be funny when everybody's just like watching you. So, you know, physically it was a really hard show to shoot. The last 2 years got easier because the technology caught up. So the CGI and everything was a lot easier. We weren't.
We got in the habit of it. Like, we had a lot of directors in the beginning, really seasoned, amazing directors that didn't know what to do with the show. They'd walk in and be like, well, what do we do with the cat? How does the cat get up here? And when do we use the green screen? And what do we do about this effect? And we were like, eventually we started directing it ourselves because we were like, it's just easier if we just do it.
So, yeah, we know how.
This is
how it
taking
works,
forever.
yeah.
Like, we gotta go home at some point tonight.
But the last 2 years it was a lot easier, and those were my favorite 2 years because it was just pure fun, and we weren't quite as exhausted, and we were, you know, we had a great time.
I still have so many people, even, you know, professionals in the industry as well, bringing up the show to me, and they all thought it was a multicam live audience show. And I was like, no.
It was
we
like
were doing
one of the
we were
few
doing 60
hybrids. Yeah, it was a hybrid. We actually took my mother was the executive producer. She found the comic book from the Archie comics and turned it into a movie, which then spun off into the series. And so it was like her baby the whole time. And she took the schedule that we had on Clarissa, which I'm not sure, I think it's because we were underage at the time of Clarissa, that we had this schedule at Nickelodeon where we rehearse Monday and Tuesday, and then film Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And so we took, actually on Clarissa we worked on Sundays as well. We did like 8 hours on Sundays. But on Sabrina, we took that same kind of schedule because it was a comedy and it should be in front of an audience, which when you do an audience show, you rehearse Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You shoot a little bit of it Thursday, just to take some of the bigger scenes out of it. And then Friday, the audience shows up at 5 p.m. and hopefully you're done by midnight. But I know on Friends, I think at Friends, supposedly at 1 a.m. they bring in a new audience for the rest of the night.
I've been on shows where, like, all the Linda Bloodworth Thomason shows I did, Hearts of Fire, she would deliver the scripts sometimes at 9 o'clock at night. And the first audience had already been like, okay, we're tired, they're gone. Like, so we just have to be there till 3 in the morning with, you know. And
we couldn't do that. I mean, our show had little scenes. It was more like a single camera show, which would be shot like I don't know if you guys watch Young Sheldon or the Goldbergs, like those were single camera shows. And so, you know, when you do a live audience show, you only have the audience for a certain amount of time. So if you have to bring the cat in and you have to change wardrobe and you have to do the special effects and whatnot, you just have too much going on for an audience to sit there and through it or even understand what's going on. So we just decided not to do it in front of an audience and do it 3 days a week. Really should have shot 5 days a week with our schedule.
Yeah.
But we did 3 days a week, which was nice too because Monday, Tuesday we get rehearsal, we get to fix it, we get to change it, we get to work out kinks. Sometimes I've been directing some of these single cam shows now and there's no rehearsal, there's no time to work it out, there's no time to figure out that joke or that blocking and figure out how to best tell this story. You just kind of got to do it run and gun. So it was a nice schedule in that way, but it did make it put pressure on the shooting time.
Yeah, for sure.